We talk all the time, right? Every single day. But have you ever stopped to think about what happens to our words the second after we say them? For pretty much all of history, they just disappeared. Poof, gone. Well, that's all changing. Right now, our everyday conversations are becoming this huge new frontier for data. And, you guessed it, a massive new playground for artificial intelligence.
I mean, really think about it for a second. That killer negotiation tactic you used on a call, or that super important piece of feedback a customer gave, or even just a genius idea that popped up in a team brainstorm. Once that call ends, that value, it's just gone. It evaporates. It's a crazy amount of insight that just vanishes into thin air. And look, this isn't a small thing. We live in a world of texts and emails. I get it, but the numbers here are just staggering. Research from Dubber shows that over 80%, 80, of the really crucial conversations in business are still happening with our voices. That is a gigantic, almost completely untapped goldmine of data and intelligence.
So, the big question is, how do you tap into that gold mine? Well, that's where this thing called conversational intelligence comes into the picture. It's a special kind of AI that's built to do one thing: unlock all that value hiding in our spoken words. See, the goal isn't just to hear the words, it's to actually understand them, to get the meaning, the feeling, the real intent behind everything we say.
Okay, so how does an AI actually do that? How does it go from, just a bunch of sound waves in an audio file to real human-like understanding? Well, it's all about listening for things that go way, way beyond just writing down the words.
Take a look at this. It's good versus I'd say it's a little bit good. You and I, we get the difference in a heartbeat, right? The first one is a clear thumbs up. The second one, it's hesitant, it's kind of weak. For an AI to get that, it has to learn the super subtle art of how we humans talk. And trust me, that is a massive challenge in linguistics. And this example, it's perfect. This is a real quote from a market research study. It's quite ugly, okay, I think personally. Just think about all the work an AI has to do with that one little sentence. First, it has to grab the main point, ugly. But then it has to figure out what quite does to that. And then, I think personally, the person is totally softening the blow, and the AI needs to pick up on all of that. So to even begin to tackle this, data scientists use these frameworks, like one called appraisal theory. You can think of it like a rule book for feelings that helps the AI sort everything out. It breaks down our opinions into different buckets, like, are you just saying how you feel? I like that. That's called affect. Or are you comparing it to what's cool or normal, like calling a design trendy? That's judgment. Or are you talking about how it looks, its elegance? That's appreciation. Okay, here's a really cool way to picture this. There was this study where someone had to describe a hidden object to a 3D modeler, a CAD modeler, who had to build it on their screen using only the spoken description. Conversational AI is doing basically the same thing. It's taking our messy, complicated human language and building a structured model of what we actually mean. All right, so that's the cool science behind it, but let's talk about where the rubber meets the road. How is this stuff actually being used out in the real world? Because once you can reliably figure out what people are really saying, the possibilities for business are, well, they're pretty much endless. And I mean, it's popping up everywhere. Companies are using it to listen to sales calls and figure out what their top performers are doing differently. They're digging into customer service interactions to find the real root cause of frustration. It's being used to make sure people are following the rules in industries like finance. Heck, it's even being used to spot toxic language to protect employee well-being. And this is not just some nice-to-have tech. The impact on the bottom line is very, very real. Take this company, Next Telecom. When they added conversational intelligence to what they offer, they saw a 50%, 50, revenue increase per user. That is a huge return on investment, and it's all from analyzing conversations they were already having anyway. And this is the key takeaway, right? Businesses can now get super specific answers to their biggest questions. Instead of just guessing, they can pinpoint the exact moment a sales pitch goes wrong. They can get real-time alerts on compliance risks, not weeks after the fact. They can literally hear unmet customer needs and use that to build their next product. It completely changes voice from just a way to talk into a powerful, strategic asset. So the business case is pretty clear. It's a game changer. But what I find truly fascinating is that the exact same technology that's helping companies sell more stuff, it's also playing this huge role in bridging digital divides and promoting social inclusion.
And to really get why, you have to look at how far this tech has come. I mean, back in the 90s, trying to get a computer to understand you over the phone was a joke. It could barely get 60% of simple numbers right. Forget about having a real conversation. But today, it's a whole different world. The AI can handle noisy lines, thick regional accents, and all the weird ways we stop and start when we really talk.
And believe me, this is hard. It's not like listening to a clean podcast recording. For an AI, a phone call is a total technical mess. The limited bandwidth can make words sound the same, background noise can be mistaken for speech, and what do you do with all the ums and ahs and you knows? Getting past all those hurdles has been a monumental task. So why does this matter so much? Because it creates a powerful pathway for digital access. For people who may not have broadband internet or a fancy smartphone or even high literacy skills, the simple telephone is still a lifeline. With this technology, they can do things like check bus schedules, register for social programs, or access educational materials, all through a simple universal voice interface.
All of this brings us to the future. With this technology getting more powerful and more widespread, we are right on the cusp of a major shift in how we think about our spoken words.
And here's a number that'll make you sit up straight. Gartner, a big tech research firm, has a prediction. They say that by 2025, which is right around the corner, 75%, three-quarters, of all conversations we have at work will be recorded and analyzed. Think about that. That's not a niche thing. That's going to be the default.
So that leaves us with a pretty deep question to chew on. When we have the ability to capture, search, and analyze literally every conversation, what are we going to discover? About our businesses, about our customers, and maybe, most interestingly, about ourselves. The secret life of our spoken words is about to be revealed.